And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about another effort to defund high-speed rail. My guest this segment is Bob Huff, a member of the state Senate from San Dimas. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be with you, Steve.
So the latest news regarding high-speed rail is that the first leg, which was going to go from the Central Valley down toward Los Angeles, is now going to Silicon Valley instead. Has that made any difference in terms of legislative perception or public perception as far as you can tell?
Well, it's another in a chain of broken promises with the voters. They were told it was going to be high speed, a certain amount of time, 2.5 hours or so from LA to San Francisco. They were told a lot of things, and they were also told the first segment we built in Southern California. So again, it's just another broken promise as they seek to take an easier path because they ran into so much opposition in Southern California.
Now, a few years ago, California voters approved the bonds. It was what, $9.95 billion, correct? For the high-speed rail. Not all of the bonds have been sold. Is that correct?
Correct. There's about $8.1 billion of bonds that have been unsold, and that's significant because they were getting some legal challenges. So the governor's been propping it up with the cap and trade money.
$250 million a year?
$250 million a year just to kind of keep it on life support and moving ahead until they get some of the legal issues and the challenges resolved.
And it is moving ahead.
Well, it appears to be, yes. Although when they run into roadblocks, they just tend to change the path rather than try to really solve the problem, such as the Tehachapis. That was what was becoming one of the big engineering problems. How do you get through the Tehachapis, and how do you route it once you get up into the suburban areas of Los Angeles County, because they were getting pushback everywhere they went.
Well, of course, now they are saying that by routing it toward Silicon Valley, that's a much less expensive proposition, and so that's saving some money, right?
Well, it saves them money now, but they still got to get through the Tehachapis. That's the whole thing.
Right.
And the opposition that they have now, those guys may move, who knows, but for the most part, they're not going away. They're just ramping up and getting more angry at this whole project that seems to be out there threatening their homes, their families, their life.
You are one of the lead advocates for an initiative trying to be on the November ballot, November 2016 ballot, that would basically repurpose the unspent bond funds for water storage, correct?
Right. I think anything in government, you have limited resources, so you have to have priorities. And it's real clear, having gone through an historic drought, that we have huge water infrastructure problems. Notwithstanding El Nino this year, we have seen that our population's grown since we built the water system. It's going to continue to grow, and we need to have the infrastructure for it. We don't need high-speed rail. You can take different forms of transportation to get around. You can't turn the water on and survive if water's not coming out of the spout.
Well, to sort of segue from high-speed rail to water, which is part of this initiative, you would establish new priorities for water in California. In other words, domestic use would be first, agricultural use would be up there, and environmental use then would sort of take a back seat, and that has a lot of environmentalists upset.
Well, and it shouldn't, because when you have more water, you're going to have more water for the environment. And the other thing is you still have the national, the EPA that's going to be, their regulations are in place, and we certainly do a lot of things related to the national environmental restrictions that we have. But in California, we've gone above that in some areas. So it's just a matter of staking in the ground and saying, you know what, people are our first priority here.
So, so you can tell the environmental community that if this passes, then water use for the environment really will not be adversely affected?
It won't be adversely affected. It won't overreach. You'll still have the federal protections in place is the best way to put it. But again, California has gone above and beyond in some places.
All right. Senator Bob Huff, thank you very much for coming by and talking about this issue. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, My Government on Demand, and the California channel. Have a great day.